Welcome to the driver's seat. We're here wrapping up a week with the 2019 Ford Ranger XLT. This is one of the hottest trucks on the market today. There's no questioning Ford's dominance when it comes to full-size trucks. The F-150 is not only the best-selling truck, but the best-selling vehicle in America today. They sell over 700,000 units annually. It's been about 8 years since Ford had a Ranger in the market, and they're just tired of Tacoma and now Colorado and Ridgeline taking all the market share. So they brought this Ranger, which basically exists in a slightly different form around the country. We're getting it mid-cycle, and in a couple of years we should get a true American version of this truck. So let me give you a quick walk around and the all-new Ford Ranger. So let's start with the engine. You have a 2.3 liter EcoBoost turbocharged 4-cylinder engine producing 270 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. Those are impressive numbers, and I have no complaints about the engine. It's made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission, available standard 4x2 or optional 4x4. And I think they've done a good job. This engine is more than capable and gets decent fuel economy, average of about 24-25. It's the best fuel economy for a non-diesel in the segment. If you add the Duramax, well, that obviously gets better fuel economy. I like the styling. It's very clean, very truck-like. As you can see, some resemblance to the F-150, but in my opinion, not enough. You do have 3 grades. We're driving the medium grade, which is the XLT. 4x4 is about $30,000. It's available in 2 cab configurations. This is the crew cab, and then this is the extended cab, and then there's the crew cab, which is the 4 doors. So the main difference is when you get, or if you want the 6-foot bed, which is what we have, then you have to go with this cab configuration. If you want crew cab, well, then you're going to get the shorter 5-foot bed. I like the high sidewalls of the bed. Really nice for keeping things. They're definitely taller than the competition. The tailgate's okay, but I wish they would add some dampeners to it. If you just let it go, it's a very harsh drop, but plenty of room. And overall, the truck is a very truck-like. What I mean by that is that it's a little bit of a rough rider. When you look at the competition, obviously Ridgeline has an advantage because of the unibody, but for a body on frame, this is as expected. I would say it's not as comfortable as the Colorado, but more comfortable than the Tacoma. Let's go inside and show you what we have here. Very basic, nothing exciting going on here. You have these Sport Tech-like seats. Nice analog gauges. Again, this is kind of what you'd expect from a $30,000 truck. What I like about the Ranger is it feels light and nimble, with the exception of the steering. It's a little bit heavy, but I actually like heavier steer feel. And overall decent ergonomics. You could tell that Ford did not spend a ton of money Americanizing this vehicle for this market, and I know they're working on one that's going to be a true mid-size American truck for this market, and that should be coming out in, say, not 2.5 years. But for now, this is a good stopgap measure. I think from an engine technology standpoint, they are right up there with the competition, if not a little bit more advanced. The fact that they have the 4-cylinder turbo makes kind of a bold statement. Neither Chevy or Toyota offer that. They do offer 4-cylinder engines, but they don't offer 4-cylinder turbo. But on the other hand, Ford's not offering a diesel, at least not at launch, for the Ranger. I suspect the Ranger will draw from two types of customers: those who have owned Rangers in the past and have been waiting, and those who just want something different than what's out there. And for that, I think Ford will be rewarded with about a 15 to 20% market share, possibly more, but I think right now that's about where they'll be, and that's a great place to be, because that segment keeps growing. And quite honestly, I think full-size trucks are great when you have the space for them, but if you live in more congested areas, they're almost impossible to park. They're getting longer and wider, and they're just massive. Not exactly an easy vehicle to park. And sure, you can park it, but you're going to be getting a lot of door dings because it's so big. So I think smaller trucks make more sense. And quite honestly, if you look at the Ranger today, it's probably not much smaller than an F-150 was, say, 12, 15 years ago. And that's just a sign of where things have gone and where they're going. I think it's a great time to be in the market for a truck in this segment, because you have great options. Tacoma, mentioned the products from GM, the Canyon and the Colorado, this Ranger. If you want to go with something a little more practical, then go with the Ridgeline if you don't need that heavy duty towing and off-road. I actually like the Ridgeline. I like the dual action tailgate. It makes it much easier to get into the bed. Still have the Frontier technically, but there should be a new one coming. So really, I'd say within the next 2 years, we'll have all new, everything will be new, relatively new in the segment. And really, Tacoma is probably one of the older technologies outside the Frontier. That truck, even though was redesigned a few years ago, it is a lot of old technology underneath. If something works, why mess with it?